Dr. Yakubu Alasan, Dr. Johnson Esiama, Dr. Kwekuche Aka, Dr. William Ahaji, Honorable Haruna Idris, Ambassador Sampi Yale, Honorable Mavis Amafrempong, Mr. Kofi Triche Upoku, Mr. Alexander Mould, Mr. Kakra Esamwa, Mr. Michael Abe, Honorable Isaac Adongo, Mr. Prosper Huitu Esquire, Mr. Sam Baba, Honorable Elvis Free Ankra, and the Secretary to the committee, Honorable Nana Oye Bampo Ado. These are the 23 individuals who crafted the document we are going to be launching this afternoon. May I then ask the other members of the committee, the 22 committees, please stand for a few minutes. Let's give you a round of applause. Members of the 22 committees, those who are here, not everybody had a ticket, and therefore most of you are not here. These are the individuals who served on the 22 committees we established to do research, gather data, and produce the documents that we synthesize into the manifesto we are launching today. So my brothers and sisters, comrades, we thank you so much. May the good Lord continue to bless our homeland Ghana and make our NDC great and strong. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. Comrades, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I would like to quickly acknowledge a few of the groups and personalities we have in our midst. And please, if you don't hear your name, don't worry. In due course, we will introduce all of you. We have here members of the Functional Executive Committee of the great NDC. Our national officers are here. A round of applause for them. Please, can you give us a wave? Give us a wave. Yes. Our national organizer, Comrade Joseph Yamin, is here, ably supported by all our national officers. Then we have here members of the National Executive Committee of the party. Please give us a wave. A round of applause for all of them. And please, I want to hear your applause for this group. Our hard-working 137 members of parliament. A round of applause for our gallant MPs. And please, a special round of applause for their able leadership led by the Honorable Atto Forsen. I also want to especially acknowledge a leading member of the NDC, a member of the steering committee of our 2024 campaign, Dr. Kwamina Dufour is here. A round of applause for him. Then we have a man who served this nation in many positions. He is the former Speaker of Parliament, Right Honorable Do Ejaho. A round of applause for him. Once a leader, a round of applause for the Member of Parliament for the good people of Tamale South, Honorable Haruna Idrisu. And then we have the chairperson or the head of the campaign team of the flag bearer, who also doubles as a national vice chairperson, Professor Joshua Alabi is here. Round of applause for him. The head of the campaign team of the running mate, Honorable Alex Segbefia, is also here. Round of applause for him. And then we have the former national chairman of the great NDC, Honorable Dr. Samuel Opozuampofu here. A round of applause for him. And in due course, I'll be introducing other dignitaries herein present. Now, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, fellow countrymen and women, The NDC has an unparalleled legacy of development and national transformation, a legacy that we are proud of. Unfortunately, many are those who have been hoodwinked and deceived to believe otherwise, and that is because of the considerable deception and mischief that our opponents have peddled about our record, especially the state of the country we bequeathed to the MPP on the 7th of January 2017. And so even before we go into our manifesto for the 2024 election, it is important to set the record straight. And if it's about setting the record straight, then you will agree with me that there is none better than the man who led the famous forum for setting the record straight, a man who has inspired me a lot. With a round of applause, with a rousing round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the microphone, the Chief Executive Officer and General Secretary of the great NDC, Honorable Fifi Fiave Kwete.
Thank you very much. May I begin by acknowledging the presence of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, the flag bearer of the great National Democratic Congress, and the spouse who is here. I want to acknowledge the Speaker of Parliament, Honorable Alban Sumana Babin, who is here with us. Prof. Nana Jane Obokuajima, the running mate of our flag bearer, my national chairman, all members of the National Executive Committee of the party who are here, the former Speaker of Parliament, Honorable Doa Jaho, who is present, Minority Leader, and all our MPs who are here, members of the Council of Elders, the they have a plan for our country. Over the last 8 years, what we have seen has been a systematic degradation of our nation. A nation that was on a cusp of transformation has systematically been brought to a level where today hope is gone and our young people have virtually vanished. So today we are going to be listening to the unveiling of a set of policies that will bring about some hope for our country again and set this country anew towards restoring our country to where it ought to be. Now, but before I go into the nation that was left for our friends promise more, because if it's an issue of promising, we know we in the end they say we can never in the NPP. I mean, many of you remember that even as far back as 1992, in that very first election of this Fourth Republic, MPP already started promising this country their capacity to build rail lines from Accra all the way to the northern part of Ghana, 1992. So these are people who are known for easy promises, because unfortunately their belief is that to win power you simply need to say anything. So anything that can be promised, just promise it. So a contest between us and them on the back of promises is a contest that naturally we will lose. Why? Because if you have integrity, and you have honor, you don't just promise anything by any principle. That's a policy that is simply anchored on lies and deception. We know that when you say, for instance, that you want to change this country from taxation to production, you clearly are stating a policy that is not anchored on truth. You are lying, because it's simply not possible in a developing country to tell people that you want to remove taxation and simply have a country that is only for production. It's not possible. Some amount of taxation will definitely continue. When you say one village, one dam, and you know beyond doubt that you do not have that capacity, you are deceiving the people. And that is what we have seen over the last 8 years, that every single one of those promises today have become promises that are null and void. Now, so we want to make a difference, and the difference we want to make is our promises and our policies are anchored on principles. They came into office, and the first thing they did was to tell the country that we left for them a country that was destroyed, a country that was in a mess. But truly, if you go through the record, you know that many governments would actually be happy to find the foundations that we left behind when we left office in 2016. In 2016, when we were living, we delivered for our friends in the MPP a sound economy that was marked by sustainable public debt with a debt to GDP ratio that stood at 55.6%. A stable credit rating of B-, a low budget deficit of 6.1%, a declining inflation rate that stood around 15%. We handed over to them a depreciation of currency that stood about 9.6%. Handed over to them a manufacturing sector that was very strong. We handed over to them 2 massive oil fields that they inherited. Handed over to them a cocoa sector that was thriving and was producing at over 960,000 metric tons a year. Handed over to them a number of significant buffers, and some of these buffers are the ESLA that we handed over to them. We handed over to them Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund, handed over to them a sinking fund, and all these were funds that any government taking office would be happy to inherit. Now, apart from this, we handed over to our friends the most monumental portfolio of investment that you can ever boast of in every sector, whether in the health sector, or in the educational sector, in the energy sector, across the whole segment of all that we had in government. Many people would actually wish that they inherited such an economy. Our friends unfortunately took over and pretended this was an economy that was in chaos. Now, when you take over a country and you cannot even acknowledge what you take over, you lie about the quality of the economy that you had made, right from the word go, you are in difficulty. Now, so what I want to just close today to say is that our manifesto that we are presenting to you today, just as we have done in the past, is a manifesto that will be delivering to you promises and policies that we know are achievable. The things that we cannot do, we will not talk about. But what it is that we can do, we will elaborate today in order for the country to know the clear difference between the NDC and the NPP. The final thing I will say before I sit down is that no government is perfect, so we accept that mistakes can be made. But what you do when you are in government is to show the humility, which humility means that when you are charting a path and there is a problem, you should have the capacity to acknowledge it and be able to receive the feedback so that corrections can be made. The manifesto we are presenting today is by no means going to be a perfect manifesto, but one thing we can promise you is the humility of the leadership, the humility of John Mahama, the humility of the people who are going to work with him, to be able to say if there is a problem, we will be able to receive the necessary feedback and do the corrections in order to be able to deliver for the future. Unfortunately, we deal with people who, even when it is blatantly wrong, even when the vehicle is driving in the wrong direction, they are too proud, they are not humble enough, they are too arrogant to acknowledge it, and they continue driving in that same direction, refusing any feedback, refusing any constructive criticism. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to say more than this, but to simply establish to you that we are a party that makes every effort to establish every policy and every promise we made on sound principles. The principles of truth, the principles that our national anthem teaches us, that we need to cherish fearless honesty in all we do. It is only on the back of that honesty that we can truly have a nation that is truly great and strong. Thank you very much.
Another round of applause for the General Secretary. Ladies and gentlemen, we have in our midst some revered chiefs that I would like to acknowledge. We have here the paramount chief for Gomua Ejumako, Obrimpon Nyamfo Krampa. A round of applause for him. We also have here the chief of Efitu Ebusuya Penyi Nenyi Akon. A round of applause for him. We have here Nana Nekte. A round of applause for him as well. Then we have the Moses chief for the Greater Accra region, Naba Kauda. A round of applause for him. Then we have Dr. Chief Ishaku Tutu Maba, the Borisa number 2 Konja chief for Ejumako traditional area. A round of applause for him. We also have here our hard-working parliamentary candidates. A round of applause for our PCs. But let me specially acknowledge one of our PCs. He is the reason why every part of Winneba is painted with NDC colors. He is our PC for this constituency, and inshallah, the incoming member of parliament for Winneba. Dr. James Kofi Annan is here. A round of applause for him. Thank you for your good work. Ladies and gentlemen, turn to your neighbor and ask him or her whether he has a number. Do you have a number? Do you have a number? Eyezu. The man I'm about to introduce has a number. He is a number 3 in Ghana. A seasoned politician who has served this nation dutifully in many roles. He is a vanguard of our democracy and the public interest. But for him, I'm not sure that what we even have left as Ghana would have been in place. Ladies and gentlemen, a rousing round of applause for the Right Honorable Speaker of Parliament, Alban Sumana Bagbin. Choboy. Ladies and gentlemen, we also have here, even though I'll be introducing her later when she's about to speak, but it is important that I do so now before the main introduction. Ezu, our mother is in the house, the vice presidential candidate of the NDC and the incoming first female vice president of Ghana is here. Professor Nana Jane Obokwajeman is in the house. Make some noise. Mamio Dende. Thank you. And then we have another mother. Your mother, my mother, our mother, the quintessential woman who has been taking care of our father, the woman who has transformed lives through her foundation. She's been First Lady, and by the grace of God, she is the incoming First Lady of Ghana, the beautiful wife of our father, Her Excellency Lordina Mahama is in the house. Make some noise and show her some love. Choboy. Now we've listened to our General Secretary set record straight. NDC, the national chairman of the great NDC, the national chairman of the great NDC, Honorable Johnson Esiedun Ketia.
Your Excellency, the incoming President, the Right Honorable Speaker of Parliament, Your Excellency, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman. You know something? I'm cutting the protocols here because I charge my General Secretary to establish a very elaborate protocol list so that if he makes a mistake, I will not be blamed. So I would like at this stage to write on the protocols established ably by the General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress. But before I proceed, we had a shocking news yesterday, and that was the demise of one of our comrades. Comrade Eric maybe postponed this event, but we've been taught that when comrades are in battle, so on this note, we are encouraged to proceed without him. But I'll crave the indulgence of everybody here for us to remember him with just 1 minute silence before we proceed with the rest of the proceedings. Shall we stand up and observe a minute silence for Comrade Eric Datson? May his soul and the soul of the earlier departed rest in perfect peace. Amen. Revolution has a long way to go, but has come to stay. Revolution revolution has a long way to go, but has come to stay. Has come to stay. Revolution has a long way to go. But has come. Now have introduced new fanciful terms such as haircuts and domestic debt exchange into our economic For the first time in our history, pensioners who toil to serve our country and are entitled to a quiet retirement have had to picket at the Ministry of Finance to demand their hard-earned savings which they had invested in government bonds. The sight of these senior citizens on television painted a rather bizarre image of our beloved country to the international community. Our present government has introduced a plethora of taxes that have visited excruciating hardship and a debilitating impact on our living conditions. Our infrastructure has broken down and many of our roads have been left in a bad state. Our hospitals have been neglected and many projects meant to enhance the quality of our health services have been completely ignored. Our educational system has been destroyed almost completely due to the reckless and the incompetent approach to the implementation of the free senior high school education program. After the smooth introduction of the progressive free senior high school education program by the Mahama administration, many parents have become exasperated as they demand the ever-elusive quality education for their wards. In the energy sector, ladies and gentlemen, the mismanagement has been phenomenal, and doomsday that was effectively ended by the Mahama administration in 2016 has again reeled its devastating has provided Ghanaians with clear, actionable and concise solutions born out of our social democratic ideals to address the many problems this country faces today. Our policy of the 24-hour economy has been clearly stated in simple terms to enable everybody to understand and associate with. except those who intentionally refuse to understand. So are other policies that we are convinced will help create the egalitarian society that we all seek for our country, Ghana. We are sure that this manifesto, which represents